Hi everyone, Harris here with iDownload Blog, and just a few hours ago, Apple announced and made public the iPhone 12 series, including the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone 12, 12 Pro, and 12 Pro Max. So we've got a very busy lineup of iPhone products this year. In this video, I want to talk about my personal favorite iPhone, at least thus far, the iPhone 12 mini, and 10 interesting things to know about it and that might help you if you're considering this phone. Starting out with number one is changes to the Ingress protection or IP certification on the iPhone 12 series, including the iPhone 12 mini. So it now has IP68 water resistance, dust and water resistance, but it has been improved upon the previous generations because the iPhone 11 series had IP68 as well. But now you can safely have your phone up to 6 meters of depth for 30 minutes. So if we compare this to something like the iPhone SE2, which came out earlier this year, that has IP67 and it can withstand 30 minutes of water resistance, but only at 1 meter. And then you have the iPhone 11 from last year, which was IP68 as well, but for 2 meters of depth. And even the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max that we saw last year as well were IP68, but that only had 4 meters. So we're getting 50% more water depth resistance now with 6 meters for 30 minutes, which is pretty great. Secondly, it has a bigger screen than the iPhone SE. This has a 4.7-inch screen, and the new iPhone 12 mini will have a 5.4-inch screen. But what's awesome is that the iPhone 12 mini is smaller than the iPhone SE. This is basically the iPhone SE that everyone's always wanted on steroids. So it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but it has all the power user features that you want, but in a very small body. And this is a case that I have for it right now. And you can see in comparison to the iPhone SE second generation that difference. And the iPhone 12 mini weighs 10% less, is 5% narrower, and 5% shorter. But it is 1% thicker than the iPhone SE2, but if we're comparing it to the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11, it is 10 and 11% thinner respectively than those more expensive phones from last year. Third, there's weird, kind of misleading pricing on this phone. So it does start at $699 for the 12 mini as well as $799 for the 12. However, that's for AT&T and Verizon. If you're going for the other two carriers, at least here in the United States, or the SIM-free plan, you actually have to pay $30 more. So this appears to be some type of exclusive partnership with AT&T and Verizon that makes it a little bit more expensive if you want to go elsewhere. So if you're trying to buy this phone for, like my position, for a YouTube review, you're going to have to pay $30 more unless you have it on a carrier, which means it's not as attractive if you're reselling it later because you can't use it with as many different types of SIM card, which is unfortunate. 4. Now this phone supports FaceTime HD 1080p as opposed to 720p, which is a first for Apple products over both 5G and Wi-Fi. So that's great to see. Higher quality FaceTime, definitely great in this Corona time period. 5th, you probably saw this coming if you've been following Apple for a little bit now, but just like the new Apple Watch, Apple is ditching the charging cube that comes with the iPhone. So last year with the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, we got the new USB-C charging cubes, which was great to see. But Apple, which they're saying is for the environment, but it's really just for a little bit of cost reduction on these products and a very, very, very tiny environmental impact. But either way, it does not have this charging cube anymore. But it does come with a Lightning to USB-C charging cable in the box, which is of course nice to have, and no headphones either. So no Lightning to earpods. So now you can charge your new iPhone 12 mini and 12 series either with a Mac with a USB-C port. So if it's 2017 or newer, your Mac will be able to support USB-C and charge your phone, or even from an iPad Pro, or you can use a previous iPhone such as the iPhone 11, 11 Pro. You can use those wall chargers or an iPad's wall charger, or you can get a nice fast charger on Amazon for $10 or $15 that will charge your phone very quickly. 6. Apple is bringing MagSafe, the new magnetic structure, to the iPhone 12 mini, which means that while it doesn't give you a charging cube in the box, you do now have cooler options for wireless charging, and a lot of accessories, especially third-party, hopefully coming soon, as well as from Apple, will be able to magnetically attach and charge your iPhone, as well as give it a stand and kind of like a hovering effect. So this will be a really cool feature, especially for a small and lightweight phone. It's going to be very easy to just stick it against surfaces to charge or do whatever you need to do with your phone, put it up against a wall. It's going to be awesome to have that little bit of a magnet built in for accessories and especially wireless chargers. Number 7, it has the same camera setup as the iPhone 11 from last year, although different sensors. So you have the wide angle shot, which is basically the normal angle, and then you have the super wide angle shot, which is basically the wide angle shot. But the wide angle, or the normal shot, goes from f1.8 to f1.6, which is nice to see. You also now have night mode for time lapse on the iPhone 12 mini, so even the cheapest new iPhone does support the night mode time lapse for a lot better low light time lapses, which can typically look really bad on the iPhone if you're shooting in dark environments with the time lapse, because that requires a lot of light. And then finally, on the front facing camera, you now have the deep fusion and night mode for the front facing camera, although it is still 12 megapixels like we saw last year, but you do have some new features there. And then you also have the new Smart HDR 3, which should be a software improvement over HDR that we saw last year. Number 8, the iPhone 12 mini has slightly worse battery than the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Pro, and certainly the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It also has slightly worse battery than the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro. The only new device from Apple with worse battery than the iPhone 12 mini is the iPhone SE 2. So battery life shouldn't be terrible on the iPhone 12 mini, especially if you use fast charging and wireless charging to keep it powered up throughout the day, but it has worse battery, at least on paper, compared to a lot of the other iPhones out there, which makes sense. It's a very small device. Number 9, it technically has a higher resolution screen than the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Max. Now this is just due to the fact that it's a 5.4 inch screen, which is pretty small. You're not going to notice by any means at all the resolution difference between this phone and the other phones, but it's just kind of a nice little flex point if you want to say that your iPhone 12 mini for $699 has a better screen density than the more expensive counterparts. Number 10, it comes with 64 gigabytes of storage, which for a lot of people will be okay if you're just taking pictures using a lot of cloud storage, not having too many apps, not too many videos. If you want to upgrade to 128 gigabytes, which I think is going to be a much safer option for a lot of people, it's only $50 more, which is nice to see. But if you want 256 gigabytes, like you really just want to have a small phone, but you still also want to have a lot of storage, that's going to cost $100 on top of the 128 gigabyte model, so you're looking at $150 more altogether here, at least in the United States. So those are 12 things to know about the iPhone 12 mini if you are considering it. I'm absolutely going to pre-order this when it comes out on November 6th for pre-orders and November 13th for deliveries. Let me know what videos you want to see covered and any other videos you want to see regarding the new HomePod mini and the iPhone 12 series, as well as the iPad Air 4, which I should have pretty soon. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.